Hey everyone, I'm Average and welcome back to Elysia JS. Today we're going to be taking a further look into type integrity, creating roots of different kinds such as post requests. We're also going to be looking at generating a JWT for a user and accepting certain request bodies. So without further ado, let's get that started. First thing we're going to be looking at is actually making these a bit more hardened, because while we do have /user and we're accepting the ID and it is creating an object type for us, if we go to our OpenAPI/JSON or even just our OpenAPI, and I do need to be running the web server here. Okay, so if we take a look at that and we go down to user ID, you'll notice that we get a ID and it says string. What if we wanted to enforce the user IDs to be only integers? That's actually not hard to do at all. We can add on to our handler here, our get handler, with an object, and in this object we can type in params. Now this is going to be the expected types that we can enforce. So we can say ID and we can say t.number, and we're going to need to import t here. So we can say update import from Elysia, and we also want to enclose our newly enforced object with t.object. So just do t.object and wrap it around the object that we had here, enforcing the number. So if I save and I refresh, you'll notice that we get path parameters ID number required. So I do have Bruno open here and I have our endpoint typed out. We got our HTTP localhost user ID. If I press a send, we'll actually get a type validation error. Property ID should be one of numeric. And if I actually put in a string here, we'll see that it's still throwing that error because we're not giving it an integer. If I finally give it an integer, we will get the correct response just like so. Again, this follows the OpenAPI spec. This will tell whatever client is trying to access this that something went wrong, and it will give it quite a lot of details as to how it went wrong. Now we will also need to do something similar for our other route with the user and the password. We can still create an object and we can say params t.object and pretty much do everything the same. We're still going to have a number for the ID, but for our password, we're going to enforce a string for that. If I refresh this, you'll notice that we get ID for the number, and password actually doesn't have a value because we misspelt it here. So we need to change that to passwd just like so. What we're going to do next is create our first post endpoint, and that's going to be pretty simple. We just do .post and we're going to say /login. For this, we're actually going to, instead of accepting the parameters as a destructured field from context, we're going to be accepting context directly, and I'll show you why in a moment. Context actually has a lot of different properties, as you can see here on their docs. It has the body, query, parameters. So that's what we were destructuring before, is this headers, cookie, store, and then some utility functions, along with anything else that you expand Elysia JS with. So this will allow us to get the body, and just like the parameters, we can actually enforce a structured type safe body as well. We can do a body field and give it an object. This is going to be a t.object. We're going to say username t.string just like so, and then we can say password as well, and I'm going to do t.string. And honestly, I'm going to change these. I don't know why I did passwd. We're just going to do password spelt properly this time. So now I'm going to check if the context.body.username is equal to John Doe, and I'm also going to see if the password is equal to 1234. And now if it is, we are going to want to return a good response or an okay response, HTTP code 200. To do this, it's actually pretty simple. We just say context, we just say return context.status, and we can just say 200 and give it an empty JSON body. Otherwise, what we can do is we can say return context.status 401, and we're going to give it an object with an error field, and inside of the error field, we're going to say incorrect values were provided, and that's all. Okay, so if we refresh, we'll see our new endpoint right here with our /login, and we'll get the curl built for us like so. We can press test request here and actually change the request body. So let's do ASD for our password and username. We'll get the error, incorrect values were provided. If I do John Doe and I do 1234, you'll notice that we get an empty JSON body, and we also get a status code of 200. Very good. Something we're going to do is close our web server, and I'm actually going to do bun add at Elysia JWT and run the web server again. What this is going to let us do is use JWTs super easily. The first step to doing this is we need to make a new file inside of our root, and we need to make a JWT secret inside of a .env. So the JWT secret doesn't really matter because this is a local dev server. On a real production server, you should have a better signing process, and it shouldn't just be a secret inside of .env. You should have a certificate built for that. Okay, anyway, regardless of that, we're using a local dev server, so we don't need to worry about that as much. Inside of our Elysia chaining, we can do .use, and here's where we're going to say use JWT. We can import this, and inside of here goes an object with a name. We can say JWT, a secret, and we're going to give it the process.env.jwt underscore secret with an exclamation mark, and then we can give it an expiry. We're going to say 7 days for our JWT expiry. Okay, let's scroll down here to our return context status, and just right above this, we're going to say const token equals, and we're going to say await. We're going to need to change this to an asynchronous callback here just by adding async, and we're going to say await context.jwt.sign, and inside of here, we can just give it our JWT body. We're just going to do username context.body.username, and inside of here for our return context.status 200, we're going to just put our token. Now, if we correctly log in, we'll notice that we get our token. And if I copy this token and I head over to jwt.io, pasting it in, and then giving it our secret, we'll see that we get a valid signed JWT here. That's going to be the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is some mock authentication here. I just did this because I want to show you guys how easy it is to create new routes and logic without having to create, obviously, a database and an authentication system on the side. I just want to be showing off Elysia in this video, and I hope you guys got a good idea of how easy it is to do stuff and how convenient Elysia makes stuff. I mean, you can test your API right inside of here, which is super nice. You can see all of the different info that's required, and working with Elysia is super nice. So if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And with all that being said, I hope you guys are having a great day, and goodbye.